I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, January the 26th, where if you looked at Wednesday, the stocks posted record highs there, breaking 20,000 for the first time in history, but livestock were mixed. Look at the board there on Wednesday, and the fat cattle were mixed, but trading in a narrow range, just a few dollars either side of steady. Feeders were down, but just marginally, from 22 to 50 cents in the nearby months. Look at the Fed Cattle Exchange sale, the online fat cattle auction. They had a decent run there, but had no sales on nearly half of the cattle, as people were really expecting more than that, and not very good demand in the northern plains, although the prices were higher. Your weighted average was almost 122, 121.98, which was about $1.50 higher than last week's sale, with a 124 top. And that's something we hadn't seen so far in this rally here. But your feeder cattle auctions on Wednesday, I said earlier in the week that they were going to moderate out because we're not going to see the same gains as we saw in the early week sales. It really didn't have a comparison for the previous week, because these mid to late week sales that we're looking at now, they made good gains last week, but actually a little bit lower. Especially on your feeder weights that we saw the jump in last week there, especially late in the week. We saw your feeder weights kind of come back around. Well, now they're drifting back off again, even though we've seen the fat cattle hold and get a little bit better. But your real-time index on Beef Market Central there, this is for Wednesday's sales, down 87 cents at 132.12, and so you're seeing me feeder cattle index when it finally comes out towards the end of the afternoon today for yesterday's sales. It'll be lower too, as their real-time index runs about a day ahead of that. But if you look at some sales, look at the big sale. Of course, El Reno, Oklahoma had well over 10,000 head, and I'm looking at it here late in the day on Wednesday. But your feeders over 700 pounds were $1 to $5 lower. We saw gains in there last week, but took it all back for sure. And but your middleweight cattle higher again, steady to $5 higher. People still buying those grazing cattle, and cattle get ready to turn out on either graze out wheat or early grass. But most of your 8-weight cattle were selling in the upper 120s there in Oklahoma City, or in OKC West and El Reno. And so you're not going to see another market report that quick come out in El Reno. I'm not sure why the government doesn't put out some kind of an early market report out of there. El Reno's going to be the biggest sale in the United States now, and you have to wait till 10 o'clock the next morning to get to market. But not on Beef Market Central. In fact, if you've got your ticker, if you're a Merck Animal Health customer, you can watch the sales come across right as they sell all through the day. But look at another individual quote. Winter Livestock in Dodge City, Kansas had a load of 820-pound steers on Wednesday, bring 135. They didn't have a sale last week due to the ice storm, but if you go back 2 weeks, those same cattle would have brought about 136.50, so down about $1.50. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.